Chaser's 2016 election coverage, and with 4 weeks still to go, only the Chaser has an election desk big enough to seat the number of experts this election requires.
And don't worry, this desk isn't wasteful at all. It's made from 100% recycled ABC shops. Although, sadly, during construction, 72 ABC employees did lose their lives.
Yes, nothing to do with the desk. They were just very old. But what a relief to finally see a serious election desk in this country.
Yes, now if we take a look at the quality of political coverage measured by desk, we can see here that Channel 7 has a paltry 6 metres. Channel 9's a bit more respectable at 8 metres, so that's mostly for Carl to rest his beers on.
Yeah, and poor old Sky News just has David Spears and an IKEA desk that he had to assemble himself.
By contrast, we've got an expert for every seat, every issue, and in fact for every single person in this country. And it's great to have so many of you at the desk here in the studio this evening.
Statistic, actually, there are now more Australians connected to this desk than the NBN.
As we pass the halfway point of what's arguably the most important federal election since the last one, Jules, what do you think is the choice that voters are presented with?
Well, look, I think on the 2nd of July, Australians have a very clear choice between a man who's been disappointing recently and a man who's been disappointing his entire life.
To be fair, I think Bill Shorten's had a very good campaign. I mean, I know on Monday he got accused of using prehistoric language,
which I thought was very, very unfair, actually. He sounds nothing like a caveman.
Bill Shorten's happy enough to be stalked by the cameras on his daily run.
By contrast, from the very start of this campaign, the Prime Minister's pitch has been very clear.
This is our future, jobs and growth.
And indeed, that was our future. Malcolm Turnbull saying jobs and growth.
Jobs and growth. Jobs and growth. Jobs and growth. Jobs and growth.
Although since then, he's completely reversed his position.
Growth and jobs.
Although Bill Shorten does have his very own clear slogan.
They can trust Labor. Trust Labor, trust Labor, trust Labor. You can trust Labor, you can trust Labor, you can trust Labor.
Which reinforced the message he wanted to get across. Australians are hungry for an election which is about more than just slogans.
Yeah. We're still hungry. Shorten's right, though. All politicians know that fundamentally each election is about trust. I mean, even Jackie Lambie, as she proved with this terrifying poster here.
Yeah. She placed her trust in the wrong graphic artist.
Now, Turnbull's been big on trust too.
Trust.
Although in the past he hasn't proven too trustworthy with kids.
Yes, yeah, and actually, I think that explains why his own grandson always wears a helmet around.
So my question, though, is, which party is more trustworthy? I mean, according to an Essential Media poll, when it comes to interest rates, leadership, asylum seekers, tax, housing, climate and the environment, Australians place their trust in don't know.
Unfortunately, don't know isn't running in this election. So we decided to test firsthand just how trustworthy our politicians really are. Starting with Greens Senator Larissa Waters. Could she be trusted with the lure of money? I very subtly drop a 50 and... got her! Caught red-handed.
Hang on. Can we see the rest of that, please?
All right, play the clip.
Have your own $50
Oh,
back.
thank you very much. Are you sure you guys, Dina Tully doesn't need it for the babysitting money, right? It's like babysitting, isn't it? All right, fair enough. So you can trust the Greens to give your money to the ABC.
OK, next up, the Prime Minister himself. Would he catch me on a trust fall? I even dressed up in a Turnbull leather jacket so he'd know I was one of his people. And what did he do? Malcolm, I want you to know I trust you. I can trust you. You told me I could trust you for the campaign. Oh, more on trust funds and trust falls. Just like his poll numbers, he let me drop. But he didn't have to seem so damn happy about it, did he?
Hey, look, I feel your pain, Chaz. But for the final test, we turned to another essential poll, which asked, which leader do you trust to look after your pet? And Bill Bill Shorten came out on top, so I decided to test that out with my pet rat. Get a photo? I just want to pose with my rat. Okay, rat, thank you so much. Oh, sorry, can I take a photo? Can you mind it? Thank you.
Okay. Just what we wanted.
Shall we take it out and give it a little cuddle?
Yeah. Oh, you are very good, Tanya.
Hey, hang on, stop. Did you see Bill Shorten patting the rat then? Can we just, take a look at that in slow motion for a second, please? It doesn't even touch the rat! Nice try, Bill! Okay, let's see if Bill looks after the rat now.
You're not going to have a cuddle, Bill?
It's doing very well in Tanya's hands. All right.
Right, so Bill clearly can't be trusted to look after your pet, but on the other hand, Tanya Plibersek can be trusted. That is until this happened.
Where do we go? We've got to find it.
It's mine now.
She stole my bloody rat!
Hello? Hello?
Colleen, my name's Chris Bowen.
I have no idea who you are.
I'm the Shadow Treasurer. How are you?
Oh, yes, you're the boring one without a chin.
Excellent. I'm just ringing to thank you for your very generous donation that you've made to our cause today.
What donation?
It's very good of you.
Oh, was that little spotty prick that came to my door yesterday? I thought he was selling cheaper electricity.
Whether it's a small donation or a big one, it's...
You took my
it's
money.
Making a...
Typical bloody Labour. Fuck off!
Malcolm Turnbull, a Prime Minister under siege.
Malcolm Turnbull's popularity is continuing to plummet.
Even cows can't stand listening to him. In fact, only one person still likes Turnbull, himself.
I'm in great form. What a great role model. What a great example. I'm good.
So why isn't Malcolm Turnbull connecting with voters when he's such a man of the people? Like the rest of us, Turno points at things with his sweater sleeve. He gets to the train station just like any regular guy.
The PM then had his Commonwealth car driver take him to the nearest train station.
And on arrival, he drives his very own 19th century steam trains.
There you go. That is great fun.
In fact, Turno's the oldest ever president of the Thomas the Tank Engine fan club.
I came into this role as an adult.
Easygoing Turno can bond with people on almost any topic.
They're all different, aren't they, folks?
Yeah, very different. Yeah. You'll never find the same bloke.
Even kids love hanging out with him. Sure, Turno bangs on a bit, but Channel 9's graphics team found a way of dealing with that.
Both leaders were asked if they do any deals with independents.
I'm surprised that you would be, you'd imagine it was possible that we would be doing deals with the Greens or independents. We will govern in our own right. We expect to win this election because...
So that's a no.
If only Channel 9 used that technique on their other shows.
Please welcome your host, Summers!
So that's a no.
But most importantly, our Prime Minister has a grand vision for what the people of this nation can achieve.
Australians can do anything, including selling mattresses into the Chinese market.
And isn't that what every Aussie dreams of?
So that's a no.
We're on the Chaser's election desk, and so are you. And so is a very special guest. Isn't that right, Zoe?
Yes, I'm delighted to say that our very first guest is the Prime Minister himself, Malcolm Turnbull. Prime Minister, do you like our desk?
Well, how awesome is this?
And don't worry about the cost, because we built it in South Australia.
So I'm delighted to be here, standing between these two great women, whom I admire so much.
Yeah, all right. Calm down, you sucker.
I'm thrilled to meet the boys as well, of course. Young man, you're munching a bun there, looking very good. Very good fella.
Yeah, enough of your banging on, Turnbull. Let's move on and look at some seats.
Let's look at the seat of Indi now.
Yes, Indi is held by the independent Cathy McGowan, who last election beat the Liberal Sophie Mirabella, who's running again.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Sorry, I think we've got a bit of a glitch there.
No, that is Sophie Mirabella.
Oh, it can't be Mirabella because that princess says she's got hope.
All right, moving on. Can we go to Canberra, please?
Can we not?
Good point.
OK, look, I think time for a closer look at the Labor strategy then. Bill Shorten has been making some pretty unrealistic promises. Just take a look at this one.
We're not going to have a boring election.
Whoa! That's Shorten's carbon tax moment right there.
Yeah, Bill liar.
Well, let's fact-check that promise now.
The public are bored.
Bored?
Stolid, dour and dull.
Boring, lifeless, dull, tedious.
Amazingly boring. We're not going to have a boring election.
Well, the Shorten campaign is so dull. I mean, to the point that this week his daughter got so bored she attacked him and then tried to break his neck.
Yes, sadly, you can't break the neck of a man who doesn't have a spine.
Look, I actually wish that his daughter had got to him before the leaders' debate because that was the low point.
Right.
I mean, I agree with the work experience kid from Sky News.
Last Sunday... Last Sunday's leaders' debate was a real snooze fest.
It was such a snooze fest. I mean, it even sent the moderator to sleep.
To their credit, though, ABC News has been trying to hype up the election, and I've got to say, I don't think they've captured the mood of the nation.
There's never been a more exciting time to follow federal politics.
I don't think the public will take any interest in this whatsoever.
You can keep up to date with the election campaign, no matter how fast things are moving.
We're sick of it already, and there's 6 weeks to go.
All the latest news in one handy summary.
The worst campaign I've ever seen.
If you're going to vote for them, you'd better keep tabs on.
The dullest, most passive election campaign in living memory.
As Australia votes, know the story with ABC News Digital.
Well, the Hustings haven't been kind to Malcolm, and it got even worse today when he found himself walking around Bronwyn Bishop's garage.
Bronwyn Bishop, I mean, she's everywhere, isn't she? And she dropped a real bombshell with Andrew Bolt last night.
I know you knew the morning that I resigned before I knew I was going to resign.
Yeah, so if we can just update the number of people who knew Bronwyn would have to resign before she knew, that's now 24,000,001.
One big question in this election that remains unanswered is, will we see Malcolm and Tony campaigning together soon?
Prime Minister, will you be campaigning with Tony Abbott over the next 7 weeks?
Well, can I just say to you that Mr Abbott is campaigning for the return of the Turnbull government.
So that's a no.
Now, I don't blame Malcolm. Abbott is a terrible campaigner. Even when he's offering you free food, you feel like he's trying to poison you.
I totally disagree. Turnbull needs Abbott.
Yeah, it is very clever to be seen next to somebody way less popular than you. That's why Aussie Ostrich was so popular.
And why the Queen hung out with pedophiles.
Malcolm Turnbull needs to be seen with Tony Abbott at some point, so we decided to reunite them, an idea that got a very warm reception from Turnbull's entourage.
Keep going, mate. It's okay.
I know Malcolm asked me to come here. No, Malcolm asked me to come here because he knows the answer to this. Don't take him away. Malcolm wants you to have it. Malcolm wants you there.
I know he does.
Because he knows he looks better when it's there. It's a really small campaign event for us.
That's a pity, man. I'm sorry.
He really wants... If he turns around, he needs to know where his policies come from. You can tell this isn't real Tony Abbott. He's just as animated.
Yeah. I think we should do it.
Tony's gone this way. I couldn't get the real Tony here, and he's not going to be happy if this isn't in the back of the shot, OK? You're going to get your ass kicked for this, I tell you what. They're not letting me come through, Malcolm. Lucky he's taller than you, eh?
Trying to decide who to vote for?
From the makers of ABC's Vote Compass comes the newest way to explore your political views. Hate Compass. Click on the things you hate and we'll tell you who to vote for. You might hate business. The Chinese business. You might hate refugees. Or prosperity and heterosexual marriage. Or just bash the keyboard with your fists to signify you're a Jackie Lambie voter. Hate Compass maps your fury on a state-of-the-art spite matrix.
Honey, I got cranky and incoherent. It's Bob Catter for me this year.
If you hate ABC Vote Compass, try ABC Hate Compass.
Welcome back. Let's look now at the big sleeper issue of the election, superannuation.
It certainly sends me to sleep.
First, Julie Bishop failed to explain their super policy.
Are you aware of the transition to retirement scheme?
Well, I'm certainly aware that we have one.
She has a policy but doesn't know what it is. Now, if I was Julie Bishop, I'd be taking a long, hard look at myself.
Oh, God, I wouldn't do that if I was Julie Bishop. Although, amazingly, that wasn't the worst super gaffe, because Sarah Hanson-Young had a horror radio interview with a pause so long I thought my radio had broken.
I've had a text from my chief of staff sitting outside, sending me the table.
Maybe you should get him in. So it's a tax on earnings. What about contributions?
Sorry, what?
It's good to see the Greens finally reflecting the views of everyday Australians who also have no fucking clue how superannuation works.
Now, as we heard there, Sarah Hanson-Young's advisor did try to help out when his boss was struggling in that interview. And we actually have the footage of his efforts to get her back on track.
For contributions or earnings? I'm not clear.
On earnings.
Are you sure you don't want your chief of staff in? So it's a tax on earnings. What about contributions?
Sorry, what? This is on the concessional tax rate would only apply to net contributions. So it is the amount
So it's
of
contributions,
deposits.
not earnings.
It is the amount of contributions that you are putting into superannuation.
Okay.
It is the tax on that.
Okay, so that's not earnings. You said earnings.
Oh, sorry.
So this is money going in.
That's my understanding.
Okay, and what about money coming out? Your earnings.
I don't have that information.
OK, well, let's move on and have a look at the state of the houses. No, I think that's David Feeney's houses. 3 of which he actually remembered to declare.
Yeah, so this Northcote one there, that's his negatively geared house, and that is his negatively geared approval rating.
Yes, Feeney is, of course, the member for Batman, and much like Bruce Wayne, David Feeney has $1 million mansion, hides a secret, and is worried about losing to a green lunatic.
You've got to say, Feeney has not had a good campaign, has he? I mean, not only did he forget to declare a house, he also left behind his secret Labor talking points, and he forgot Labor's policies.
Will Labor keep the school kids bonus?
In terms of the baby bonus?
The school kids bonus.
You'd have to refer to our relevant shadow.
That is just typical of the member for Batman, always waiting for a shadow to tell him what to do.
Well, David Feeney is now a huge liability, so we try to help Labor hide their most embarrassing candidate.
Mr. Feeney, you've been asked to be hidden for the rest of the election campaign by the Labor Party, OK? We'll show you how it works, OK? Look, I've forgotten my policies. I've forgotten my house. I've forgotten this secret document. That's disgraceful, Mr. Feeney. I'm going to vote Will. No more David Feeney. Maybe I will vote Labor. Do you want to go into it?
No, I really don't.
You don't?
But I appreciate your advice.
All right, I'd quite like to go to another seat now, if we could. This one's in Tasmania. If I could ask our graphics team to bring up the seat of lions. No, not a seat of lion. No, the seat of lions. No, not a seat of lions. The seat of lions. Oh, forget it. Go to the break.
Chris Ullman and Greg Jennett are 2 people.
And now it's time for Disney
disproportionate responses to innocuous tweets.
Congrats Dani Im on winning the jury vote in the Eurovision final, and to Jamala for winning the contest.
Fuck off, you gay-hating bigot! Your plebiscite is contrary to EU principles! Stop the hate!
And that was...
Disproportionate responses to innocuous tweets.
Now, before we go tonight, we're going to take a little look under the desk. Election time, of course, means it's time to wheel out the election experts.
Oh, we all rely on experts to analyse those big issues, don't we? Those big policies that affect our long-term future.
Bill Shorten has made headlines thanks to what the Daily Telegraph point out, his man boobs. Do you like man boobs?
Well, Carl, that's a very leading question.
You raised Bill Shorten's man boobs yesterday on your show.
Yeah.
Do you think they're really going to affect whether or not people vote for him?
Well, I don't think it makes any difference, except it does take us off all those boring subjects like retrospective superannuation and all that other stuff.
Yes, man boobs, well worth considering, In fact, we just saw two massive man boobs right there.
Look, that's typical commercial piffle, of course.
Well,
but if you want to follow the election in depth, you're going to need a serious election network like Sky News.
There's no bigger difference in taste and quality than the difference between fresh tomatoes and shop-bought tomatoes.
How true is that?
They are so much richer, sweeter and glorious.
How true is that? And for more of Jones and Latham's unique mix of whinging and cooking, tune in to their new reality show, My Bitchin' Rules.
Oh, thank you. Now, if you are interested, though, in election issues as important as glorious tomatoes, you will want to watch Sky News because they offer the most credible of experts.
Let's talk to a body language expert. I'm going to bring in Michael Kelly in our Sydney studio. Welcome to the show, Michael.
Good to be with you.
I think Michael's there. Oh, there you are, Michael. Good to hear from you. And look, Michael, I'm going to start off. I'm going to play you a clip of the Prime Minister. I want a critique on him, and then we'll play Bill Shorten, and we'll find out from you what to watch for tonight.
Well, he's certainly not a camera location expert.
Yes, no, he's not, is he? But, oh, sorry. You know, it's not just ring-ins, though. Some of these experts are real, actual politicians who've been in the job and can lend the wisdom of their own experience.
Bob, what would you be advising Bill Shorten to be wary of as he debates Malcolm Turnbull but also faces those swinging voters?
I think both of them would be well advised to guard against saying a single standout stupid thing.
So that's what Shorten had in his notes at the leaders' debate the other night.
When Mr Turnbull...
Yes, if only somebody had told Bob Carr that before he went on the drum.
Look, at least he only said a single stupid thing. I mean, some politicians say hundreds, like, for instance, Senator Cash and MP Jason Clare on Sunrise every week.
Yeah, but I can forgive those guys, though, because their graphics are just awesome, aren't they?
Oh, yeah, no, they are good. They actually... You guys should check out the title sequence. In this age of constant terror threats, they've really nailed the tone. Mwah! I am just imagining the conference call the producer made to get those pollies on the show.
Oh, hi, Cash and Claire? Yeah, hi, how are you? Hey, I want to pitch this sweet intro concept to you guys. I'm imagining we see Parliament House, right? And then we see, like, a massive bomb, exactly the same one the terrorists use. And then it explodes, destroying everything except for you two. So, will you come on the show? Great, we'll see you at 8. Hey, wear a suicide vest. You know, of course, when you do go to this much trouble to when you go to this much trouble to set up a great segment of political analysis, you know, you want to make sure that your audience knows what's coming up next, and the expert of the tease would have to be Chris Kenny.
Yeah, his audience will be salivating with delight over this tantalising treat.
Chris will be talking. Spoiler alert. Well, you know, it's not a bad idea, though, learning the art of the tease so that, you know, viewers don't switch off during commercials. Although somebody should probably tell Peter Van Onselen how to hook people in.
And we'll be speaking to one of the Greens deputies. Have a guess who? You can have a guess on that one. It's Larissa Waters.
Yeah, the tension there lasted exactly...
Have a guess who? You can
have a guess on that one. It's Larissa Waters.
0.2 seconds.
Oh, come on, Jack, come on. It's not. It's harder than it looks. Harder than I did know better when I hosted Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. And the correct answer is... We'll find out after the break. It's A. It's difficult.
Sure.
It's a difficult job.
Okay. Look, finally, when you bring in an expert, you have to stay in control. Some of these experts take over the whole show. I mean, climate change, for example, it's the worst. In this campaign, the climate change talk has been relentless.
I mean, the Coalition, they just released yet another one of their direct action policies today.
Stay on high ground and wait for the water to come down.
Then there's bloody Tim Flannery on the climate worshipping ABC.
Oh, now of that, I felt sorry for the presenters on that one. They couldn't get a word in edgeways.
We're joined by environmentalist and scientist Professor Tim Flannery. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Miriam.
So, CSIRO, been in the news somewhat of late. We've had a number of cuts that have been announced for the organisation. But in addition, we've also seen the report produced where CSIRO Futures is looking at where business might choose to develop and progress in the track towards 2030. Some concerns, though, that perhaps the focus is too heavily weighted towards traditional fossil fuel reliance on that coal and oil. Do you find anything to be concerned with in terms of the focus that's been given there?
Well, look, it's a total disaster.
Sorry, Tim, I'm terribly sorry. We're just going to have to break out of that because the Prime Minister has just stepped up. I'm going to go there right now.
Like, I mean, for the ABC had gotten all they could out of Tim Flannery. You don't want to get repetitive on
Oh, come on, Andrew. Seriously, Flannery went to a lot of trouble to get to that studio that day. I can't help but feel he might have missed a detail or two.
Yeah.
So, look, the least we could do is give him one more chance to have his say.
Look, I think that's fair enough. Fair enough. OK, so we've got him on Skype live. Tim, I mean, do you feel there are concerns about relying on fossil fuels?
Well, look, there are really deep concerns about that.